Have you ever wondered if the person you're talking to online is truly who they say they are? In a world where our screens connect us to millions, it's easy to forget that not everyone is as genuine as they appear. Behind every profile picture, every friendly message, there could be a story you never expected, a hidden agenda, a secret identity, or even a carefully constructed lie. For dozens, that simple question became the start of a 5-year nightmare. What began as innocent conversations soon spiraled into something far more sinister, as trust was slowly built and then weaponized. They thought they'd found a friend, a confidant, even a soulmate, someone who understood them in ways no one else ever had. The connection felt real, the emotions genuine, and the hope for something meaningful was stronger than ever. But what they found was a digital ghost, crafted for one purpose: deception. This wasn't just a fleeting scam or a prank, it was a meticulously orchestrated illusion, designed to draw people in and keep them hooked. This wasn't a harmless lie. It was a betrayal that cut deep, leaving scars that would last for years. The victims weren't just tricked, they were manipulated, their emotions twisted and used against them. It was a calculated long-term operation that exposes the dark side of trust in the internet age. The web, once a place of connection and discovery, became a hunting ground for those who preyed on vulnerability. The architect was a master of disguise, slipping into roles, adapting to whatever persona would best lure in their next target. Each new identity was more convincing than the last, tailored to the hopes and dreams of their victims. A soldier, a single parent, a doctor, each story was carefully chosen, each detail meticulously crafted to earn trust and sympathy. These weren't just characters, they were entire lives, built from scratch to be believable. Each identity a key to someone's heart, unlocking their deepest hopes and fears. The Catfisher knew exactly what to say, and when to say it, to make their victims feel special and seen. Once trust was gained, the trap snapped shut, leaving victims emotionally and financially devastated. The fallout was more than just lost money, it was broken spirits, shattered confidence, and a lingering sense of betrayal. The Catfisher didn't just create fake profiles, they built entire worlds, complete with fake friends, family members, and constant updates to keep the illusion alive. Every detail was designed to reinforce the lie. Managing these personas was a full-time job, requiring relentless dedication and a chilling lack of empathy. The effort put into maintaining the deception was staggering, with every message, every post, carefully calculated. The story unfolds not in dark alleys but in the bright, seemingly safe spaces of our social media feeds. It's a reminder that danger can lurk where we least expect it, right in the palm of our hands. Here, the weapon isn't a gun but a keyboard and a carefully constructed narrative. Words became the tools of manipulation and the internet the perfect stage for this elaborate performance. Victims weren't random, they were chosen for their kindness and willingness to help. The Catfisher sought out those who were open-hearted, generous, and eager to make a difference in someone's life. And that very kindness became the vulnerability the Catfisher exploited. The very qualities that made these people special were turned against them, leaving them questioning their own judgment. This is the story of a digital predator, and the people whose lives they shattered. It's a cautionary tale for anyone who believes that what you see online is always the truth. Over 5 years, one person became 15. What started as a single online experiment quickly spiraled into a complex web of deception, with each new identity crafted more carefully than the last. Each identity had its own name, backstory, and social circle: Mark the soldier, Jessica the nurse, and more. These weren't just names on a screen, they were fully realized personas, each with their own hopes, struggles, and carefully curated details. Every persona was tailored to appeal to a specific type of victim. Some profiles targeted lonely hearts, others reached out to those seeking friendship or support, each one designed to resonate with a particular need or vulnerability. The scale is staggering: 15 separate lives, each with unique details, email addresses, and social media accounts. Managing them required meticulous organization, constant monitoring, and an uncanny ability to switch between personalities at a moment's notice. The Catfisher stole real photos, built fake networks, and scoured the internet for images that would make each persona seem authentic and relatable. They even created secondary profiles to act as friends and family, building a believable world around each main character. These supporting characters interacted, liked posts, and commented, making the illusion feel real. The fake community buzzed with activity, drawing in unsuspecting victims. Victims saw not just a profile but an entire community. It was a digital ecosystem, carefully engineered to mimic real life, where every interaction added another layer of credibility. Clicking through, they'd find more photos, more interactions, more proof. Every detail was designed to erase doubt and build trust. It was a digital puppet show. One person pulling all the strings, orchestrating every conversation, every like, every comment. The goal, build trust so strong it was nearly unbreakable. Victims felt seen, heard, and understood, never suspecting the truth behind the screen. This intricate web was the catfisher's greatest weapon. It was a fortress of lies, designed to keep outsiders confused and victims ensnared. The truth was buried beneath layers of convincing lies, hidden in plain sight, waiting for someone to finally see through the illusion. Victims weren't chosen at random, it was a hunt. The catfishers scoured social media for people who seemed lonely, grieving, or vulnerable. They read digital body language, spotting subtle cues of need and empathy. The approach was gentle: a friend request, a polite message, a shared interest. Conversations were light, building rapport and mirroring the victim's interests. The catfisher was patient, sometimes spending months weaving a sense of intimacy. Every detail was calculated. If the victim loved dogs, so did the persona. If they volunteered, so did their new friend. The goal: create a sense of destiny, a perfect connection. Social media became the hunting ground and public posts were research tools. What felt like fate was, in reality, cold calculation. Once trust was built, the next phase began, a small, believable problem. This is where the deception truly took root. The scammer would carefully craft a scenario that seemed urgent yet plausible, drawing on details shared in earlier conversations to make it feel personal and real. Maybe the soldier needed money for internet access, or the nurse needed car repairs. Sometimes it was a sudden medical bill or a lost wallet while traveling. The story was always tailored to the victim's empathy, designed to seem just out of reach of their own resources. The first request was always minor, a test of the victim's willingness to help. It was a calculated move, small enough not to raise suspicion, but significant enough to gauge trust. If they sent money, the catfisher knew they were hooked. This initial act of kindness opened the door to a cycle that would soon spiral out of control. Soon the emergencies escalated, deployments extended, sick children, urgent surgeries. Each new crisis was more dramatic than the last, always demanding immediate attention and, of course, more money. Each crisis was designed to tug at heartstrings and create panic. The victim felt responsible, desperate not to let their new friend, or love, down. The catfisher used guilt and promises of a shared future to keep victims invested. They spoke of dreams, of meeting soon, of building a life together. If only this one last hurdle could be overcome. They claimed their own funds were frozen, layering lie upon lie. There was always a reason why they couldn't access their own money, always a new obstacle that only the victim could help them overcome. Victims, desperate to help, sent more and more money. Each transfer felt like a lifeline, a way to prove their loyalty and love. The cycle of giving became a trap. The more they gave, the harder it became to walk away, as if stopping would mean abandoning someone in need. The lies grew more elaborate, the requests more urgent. The victim was bombarded with messages, each one more desperate than the last. Victims were caught in a web of perpetual crisis. Every day brought a new emergency, a new plea for help, until reality itself felt distorted. The emotional manipulation was relentless and devastating. By the time the truth emerged, the damage was done, leaving victims isolated, heartbroken, and often financially ruined. What began as small scams ballooned into a multi-state criminal enterprise. The catfisher juggled dozens of victims, each believing they were the only one. Losses soared to $1.5 million. Retirement accounts drained, homes mortgaged, friendships strained. Victims believed the money was for surgeries, legal fees, or travel to finally meet. Each payment came with a promise: this is the last one. But the crisis never ended. The operation spanned 10 states, making it hard for law enforcement to connect the dots. Local police saw isolated cases, unaware they were part of a larger puzzle. The catfisher exploited this fragmentation, staying under the radar. The financial loss was catastrophic, but the emotional toll was even greater. When the mirage vanished, it left only debt and despair. Evading capture for 5 years took discipline and cunning. The catfisher moved constantly, never staying in one place for long. Online, they used VPNs, encrypted apps, and disposable emails to hide their tracks. No real names, no real photos, just a ghost in the machine. Money was laundered through wire transfers, prepaid cards, and even other victims. This made the financial trail nearly impossible to follow. Law enforcement faced a moving target, both online and in the real world. The Catfisher left behind heartbroken victims and few clues. For years, they were just a collection of aliases and dead-end IP addresses. The hunt for the real person seemed hopeless. For years, the investigation was a dead end, until a detective in Colorado noticed a pattern. She connected her case to similar ones in other states, same story, different names. This led to a multi-agency task force, pooling resources and sharing information. Investigators built a database of aliases, phone numbers, and bank accounts. Digital forensics teams searched for cracks in the Catfisher's armor. The breakthrough came from a single mistake, logging in without a VPN. That slip revealed a real IP address in Nevada. For the first time, they had a physical location. Surveillance was set up on a suburban home. The digital ghost was about to become a real person. Years of chasing shadows were finally coming to an end. The pieces of the puzzle were falling into place. The hunt was almost over. With the suspect's location identified, the task force moved in. They found Sarah Miller, an unassuming woman with no criminal history, at her computer, juggling multiple fake personas. The evidence was overwhelming: hard drives full of stolen photos, detailed backstories, and payment ledgers. Miller had acted alone, orchestrating the entire scheme from her spare bedroom. She showed little remorse, describing her crimes as a game of wits. The people she deceived were just targets to her. Miller was charged with wire fraud and money laundering. Facing mountains of evidence, she pleaded guilty. The judge cited her calculated cruelty and the devastation she caused. Miller received a significant prison sentence. The digital phantom was finally unmasked and held accountable. The chase was over. Sarah Miller's conviction ended the legal case, but not the pain for her victims. Many lost their life savings and faced years of debt. The deeper wounds were emotional, trust shattered, self-doubt lingering. This story is a stark reminder of the double-edged sword of digital connection. The internet brings us together but also gives cover to predators. Miller's case highlights the need for skepticism and digital literacy. Vulnerability isn't weakness, it's human. The victims were targeted for their compassion, not their gullibility. Their stories urge us to be cautious but not cynical. Technology changes, but the fundamentals of deception and kindness remain. So as we navigate our digital lives, ask yourself, do you really know who you're talking to?